Morning. Actually, let me just close. Good morning, whoever may be watching in this fantastic morning. Just had my coffee. And this is going to be the first stream out of many in which we'll be trying to learn Japanese. The best we can. So before anything, quick background. I already know some amount of. I'm not sure I prepared this beforehand, but whatever. I already know some amount of Japanese, a little bit, but not much. We're gonna be doing a couple of things today. Since I've already been studying for a while, the first couple of streams are gonna be a lot of catching up, honestly. Wait, hold up. There we go. Yeah. Hello, Jamik. Welcome. So let me explain before we start anything. Mostly because I also want to archive this on YouTube, even though there may not be a lot of people here yet. How we're gonna go about studying, and how I said that we're gonna, do everything, of course. Hopefully the audio levels are okay. I think this is, anyway. So, we're gonna be using, obviously, as you can see down here, flashcards. And as you can see, I have a lot of them pending because I have not studied in a while. And those, it's basically a way to expand vocabulary in two ways. The first of all is we're going to be using this little book by James Heisig, Remembering the Kanji. It's basically an entire guide of how to memorize a kanji characters, every single one, but not really the actual meaning, right, or the real meaning you'd be using it for in Japanese, or the 2 readings or more you can have. It's more of a way to just kind of remember it by itself, which may not seem very useful, and it's not the way to learn Japanese in terms of we're not gonna be using this book or this method to learn Japanese or learn new words. We're gonna be kind of use it to play around with it, because I think it's entertaining for the stream, and I like using this methodology. It's a game, really, to memorize, and then later on it's gonna be actually pretty useful to learn new words and new kanji. But for now, it's just like a pretty interesting game that we can use. And it basically boils down to making up stories or images that will be clear in our minds, right? So that we can always visualize more or less what the kanji means in a very, very basic manner. And I'm gonna be trying to do some cool drawings, explain to you my stories, what I believe, what these stories are gonna be, and you guys can tell me how bad they are or what you think. So we'll see. Don't worry, Jimmy. By the way, you're there. So we'll be doing that, and then I'm gonna once we finish those, because I'm gonna go through those flashcards, and once we finish catching up to flashcards, we'll actually be using the book and trying to do new ones. And then I'm actually trying to, I pick up a lot of words throughout the internet, try internet pickups, be it on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, or many places, games even, like Battle Network. And I pick up words or phrases. And we're gonna try to brute force those a little bit, using flashcards and spaced repetition to actually learn vocabulary that shows up often enough for me, and I find it interesting or useful enough. And then we'll be using an actual grammar guide by Taekim. This grammar guide is great, and we're really gonna need it to properly understand Japanese and how the grammatical structures are done. But that usually is gonna come later on the stream when like there's probably more people that woke up, because it's the most useful. So we'll start fucking around with kanji and some drawings and some fun. Then we'll try to learn a bit more useful stuff in terms of words that are somewhat common, and then we go to the most useful things when there's probably more people awake and watching. So that was the idea behind the stream. Even if there are not many people watching, having the pressure of saying I'm gonna be doing this every day, there's some expectations, and I want to keep at it. So this is the best way to put pressure on myself, and we're gonna be doing it. So usually for say James Heisig, we go to a new kanji, right? Let me and then we look at the story, and I'll draw it, and I'll then add it to the flashcards, and we'll all make sure to have a clear image, a clear fun story. However, it's the first couple of weeks, and I've already done it. There's a lot, and I mean a lot of things I've already seen. I've already seen over like 400 kanjis in this book. Like a bunch of them I already kind of knew, but so we're gonna try to go through my flashcards rather than and see how that goes, and we'll try to look it up on the book if it's not clear enough, and we'll see how that goes, and then we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's give it a try. I've not used these flashcards in a while. We may have to fail a bunch of those. So the way I do those flashcards is mostly this, actually. I actually have a bunch of papers like these where I just do a lot of kanji practice, as you can see. In fact, this year alone, I got all of these. Both sides. Oh good, got more handwritten notes. Well, this is actually important because I kind of need to show you what I'm doing, and I'm gonna be making some drawings that will make, hopefully, the kanji more interesting and fun to learn. Okay. So yeah, this is the current page I'm using. Also, this is my Breath of the Wild notebook, which here's all the grammar. So we'll be using this later on. In the meantime, we're gonna be writing some kanji on top of it. A nicer pen? What do you mean? This pen is awesome. What? I love a blue pen. Okay. Anyway, let's go through the flashcards and see what shows up. Okay, so that's from this is urge, basically. The basic meaning is urge, because there's a. Actually, I wanted to do drawings here, where I did the doodle. There's basically the path. As you can see, right, there's the path. That's basically a path. You can imagine it as a road or something. And then this is for white for several reasons. So when you're telling someone that a road is very white, very nice, and you try to make them go that way, you're urging them to do that. See, urge. And that's what I came up with for like to, you know, learn it. I'm pretty sure it was also Heisig's recommendation, or James's. James. That's around. Oh, the kanjis with the path. Where are the? I overshot it. Hello, Arthur. Well, good morning. We're gonna be going through some flashcards because I have a lot of those pending. I just explained a bit the method, but if you miss it, you can do exclamation mark method on chat. And I prepared a little video where I say what we're doing. Also, that it took way longer to edit that than I'd like to admit, but you know. Well, I cannot find the roads. You can stick out. Yeah, it's fine. I'll be uploading all of this to YouTube, and mainly because when we're gonna be studying grammar later on, you may want to jump to that. So I do recommend doing that. I'll be posting those on Twitter, on my Discord as we go. So don't worry about it. Yeah, no, I kind of expected people to have work and stuff, but this is, and usually I'd start a little bit earlier. Today I had stuff to prepare, as you will see later, because this stream is gonna go on for long. And yeah, I mean, I know some people like to lurk on a stream while they work, or they work from home, or they are like IT people, and they're like something. I don't know. So we'll see. Again, I will upload this to YouTube later where you can just, and I'll timestamp them for like, okay, once we are learning new kanji slowly but surely, and I'm making more elaborate explanations than just going through my flashcards quickly, which is what we're about to do soon. I'll put like timestamps to, oh, this is the first kanji we saw, the second kanji, and then to, oh, this is the grammar for today. So again, be posting these on YouTube and updating on Discord as I go. But we're gonna be studying every day, every single day, and I'm not gonna slack on winter break. Okay. So let's go back to practice. Oh, this is a interesting kanji. To be, you know, to say. Oh yeah, I think this was just as in no, admonish. Yep. Yeah, no, only so this part of the kanji is in fact but then you start adding the spoken, which this is actually very common. If you don't know this, 1, 2, 3, like this, that's to talk, to speak, everything related to that. Usually read as EU. It's a verb, really important. It's gonna be a radical in a lot of things. Admonish, I failed, so we'll do it again because it's been a while. Extremity, and okay. So I'm not only learning Japanese, but also sometimes new words in English. So I have both ways. It shows me the kanji and I try to find the meaning, but it also shows me the English word and I try to find draw the kanji, because actually I really have like the kanji, but yeah, it's this. Oh wait, no, this is not yet like this. You know what, I'll put it again. It's like this, yeah, because it's basically a tree that's grown, fully grown. So it reached the extremity, its end. And then a tree that's not grown, not fully grown, not yet, incomplete is this, because the top branches are still smaller than the bottom branches. Because this is the kanji for tree. Again, we're gonna be going faster. Curriculum. So this one I like. This one I came up with a story thing. So it's like this. It's this. As you may, real quick, the kanji for calendar is like this. I believe it was. So when you change the day to the kanji for stop, which is this, tamaru, it's in Spanish when one is unemployed, we call it paro, and parar, it's also to stop. So the calendar of paros, how long you've been unemployed for, is kind of like your curriculum. Works for me. That is, what was that? That's system, was it not? Yes, that's system. Cool. And the Cameron, over 10 days, I did not know what the Cameron was, so I had to elaborate. That was 10 days. It's this. It's days wrapped up into 10. Fish. Sakana desu ne. This is sakana, fish. It's very common. I already kind of knew before learning it, but it's an interesting way to memorize it. First, you catch it with the fishing rod. Then you throw the unnecessary parts to your fields, and then you burn it with fire to actually eat it, as in you cook it. Cool thing. Alright, Erathro, have a good day. I'll see you around. Welcome, Attack Tester. For a quick and brief explanation of what we are doing right now, please check out this. I prepared that real quick. So we're gonna go through some flashcards for now, a bit real quick. I'm doing fun while doing it. Having some fun while doing it. Fish. That is soup. In water, 10, as in 10 ingredients in water will make a very good broth. Soup. Okay, this one is very important. Makoto, or truth. Or sincerity, yeah. Actually, that's a better way. So it's when you... So this is words, as we saw earlier. And the radicals and everything on the right, like, whoops, yes, that. It means to turn into. So when your words turn into reality, you're being sincere, you're being honest. So, and yeah, it's a very interesting concept, not only a kanji. I like it. This is just, it's very common. This one is very common again. Onaji, same. The way I like to memorize it is, you know how in animes and like shows and stuff, sometimes you have multiple copies of a single like NPC or non-important character, and they're super generic, and sometimes they're like with a hood, you know, a hoodie or something, and you cannot see anything but their mouth whenever they talk. So it's the hood, and then you only see one mouth, because they're all the same. Oh geez, I think this was overgrown. There's not a great story for this, but I just cannot remember because it's flowers on a parade, really. Without this, you don't need that. Yeah, no, we need it. Ooh, that's a good one. I like that one. Angel. Oh, no, attractive. My bad. Yes. Yeah. Well, let's do that one. We'll put it again. Basically, since I have to put it again. Whenever we say it again, I'll explain it better. Oh, army. It confused me because there's the kanji for car, kuruma, it's this, and then you put it at royal crown, then it becomes your army, your royal car. Yep. This is a sort of thing. Basically, yeah. However, it shows up a lot as Zen. That's the reading, right? Zen for Zen, which would be what? Zen. I believe that's Zen. Let's actually check it out, shall we? Zen. Ah, yes. Yep, yep. I was thinking of Ganzen when with that kanji. Yep. See, that's Ganzen. Oops. Yeah. Okay, my bad. Yeah, we'll put it as good because I remember that one. Oh, this is usually the reading I've seen for this toku. It's special, basically. Yeah. Again, it's a shame that I need to catch up on so many flashcards, because. But I think it's fine because it's the first couple of streams. I don't expect many people here anyway. Hanging scroll. But if I have to remember it this hard, there's no way I know. But I believe it had something to do with this radical wealth. Yeah. Completely forget. That's the character for announcement. You see it all the way everywhere. Revelation in form announce. Yeah, it's just a lot in when there's announcements. There's new news, and I completely forgot. Also, I forgot. Was it Tsugeru? Oh. To tell, to inform, to announce, to get it. Hi. Oops. My bad. Tranquil. If I remember correctly, this was gold and some needles, but I forget exactly. Yeah, the truth. Yes. Maybe gold. Okay, yeah. There's barely remember. Wow. I don't remember at all. Brocade. That's the word. Okay. I had the right idea in my mind in terms of more or less what it meant, but I completely forgot the word anyway. Instruction, okay, this one's easy. The words you follow like a river, honestly. River, words. Yep. Cat, oh well, cat, you say it so much that there's no way you won't remember this. Neko. Yep, there it is. Oh, this. Yeah. Like, was it like that? Yep. Wow, this has to do with clothing, and I completely forgot. Oh, backside. Oh, my. Okay, so quick little thing. This is URA for URA Internet for like undernet. Like if you see yeah, that, oh my god, why am I getting a fucking ad? Stop it. Ura Internet, yep. That Ura For una internet, it's that little kanji. That's in like the back of the net. It's pretty interesting. I just couldn't remember it for shit today. So, cloud. Oh my god. Como like it. Yeah, you cannot see it. I think it's this. Yep. So this is rain, and then this is like smoke, in a way. So it makes a cloud. Showing me the and didn't we say this earlier? This. Yep. Again, remember that's a tree, and the top branch is fully grown, which its extremity, the end of its growth. Oh, this is again when right? It's this when you're in awe of something or someone, and then they're telling you off, if I remember correctly. Admonish. Actually, let me look up admonish definition. Warn or reprimand someone firmly. There you go. See? Treasure. Okay. Takara, right? Yep. I did the radicals wrong. I mean, in the wrong order, I believe. Yeah, and it's not even gold, it's the other thing. Yep, didn't remember. See, that's what happens when you spend a lot of time out of it. Wash, it has to be this. Yep. Yep. Monkey, ooh. I know it started like this with the dogs, and that's about it. Yes, I remember something like this. Okay, so it was close enough. See the dogs, then here's supposedly also the earth, but I messed up. I didn't put a 10 or a needle instead, the mouth and then the clothing. Oh, this is an agreement, I believe it was, or something. Yep, agreement. I'm not gonna go into detail about that one. Oh, portend. No, this is to stare. Just, yep, there we go. Yep, it's basically something like you're giving someone the bad eye, because on the left is the eye, and the right is something that it's portends bad news. It's dangerous, even though it's only really. No, yeah, that's it. Oh, that's a scaffold. Also, I had to put the word in Spanish because I didn't know what a scaffold was. Again, going kind of fast because. Oh, so needle. It's this. Yeah. Well, I made it bigger than it today, but yes, it's basically gold, and I've always been using this radical that seems like a cross as a needle. Anyway, so I think of gold needles from Hunter x Hunter. You know how they have this yellow ball and then the needle? Yeah. Cottage, was it? Yeah. Hard to explain why, because I kind of have this one. The idea comes clear to my mind, but it's harder to explain. But basically, these are like pots. and then you have a kind of roof over it, except it's more like an umbrella. And I don't know why I had this idea of like rural stuff and from the pods then to a cottage. It's probably, because of my Chilean travels and stuff. But rain, ame. I love this kanji. I don't know why this kanji is so fun to draw. It's pretty self-explanatory, honestly. If you see it, it already gives you that rain impression. Yeah. Hello, Lurkin. Welcome. Ooh, this is a fun one. This is evidence. Because on the right, you have what I identify or associate with being right. On the left, to say that you're right, you need evidence. Phoenix right. Thanks for the good luck. I appreciate it. Later on in the stream, we'll be doing more interesting learning in terms of we'll actually be seeing grammar and stuff. If you miss it or you're interested, I'll be posting it on YouTube and on Discord later. Cool. So these are ashes. What you burn and you throw under the cliff. Ashes. Hai. No, it's literally called Hai. There's this anime author and I really like, Haito Genso no Imga. And I always remember it from that. As you can see, there. Hai. Ash. Hi. This is really common. And I'm forgetting. I'm pretty sure it's Hashuru, right? Is it Hashuru or Hashuru? This is Seymour. Hashuru. Okay. Hashuru, right? So it's not Hashuru, it's Hashuru. Hashuru. Right. I'm looking at the
走る
okay. Yes. I'm looking at the pitch accent. Kind of curious, at least for common words. Whoa. Pig iron. Damn. Again, I had a very hard time because I didn't know what pig iron was. It's like unrefined iron. So on the left we have the kanji for metal or gold. It's super common. That kanji, you're gonna see this a lot. And on the right we have the kanji for before. So before iron becomes literally anything or useful, it's pig iron. Thunder, kaminari, if I remember correctly. I believe it was like this. And I'm doing a very poor job. But I was right. Kaminari. There it is. Kaminari. Right, yep. Lightning, thunder. Also, when it's on another word, I'm pretty sure it's called as dry. Rai. I don't know why I just said the English pronunciation. Rai. In fact, what was it? The Genshin Impact character, Raiden Shogun, uses that. To be honest. Hanging scroll. We saw this earlier. Now I remember the story and everything. So, towel and wealth. So it comes from this story that told. Imagine there's like a towel that's worth a lot of money because wealth. Well, how it come? Well, maybe that's a hanging scroll. How it makes sense for a story for me. Don't ask. how a towel becomes a hanging scroll simply because it's associated with wealth. But those are the kind of dumb stories we will be learning more later on. Tranquilize. Yes. So with gold, you find the truth. It's okay. That story, I didn't need to check the book entry, but I remember it. Don't worry about it. Again, what was metal, white, and a towel? Oh, yeah. When you put little gold details on a white towel. What was that? A brocade. I had no clue what a brocade was until this. Class of Ricci, the curative, yeah. It's like a very fancy things, and I just decided that, yeah, sure, it can go in a white towel. Why not? It helps me remember. Oh, so this one is just a farm or a field to grow stuff. It actually comes up often. What was it? How about that? Yeah, so there it is. Hatake. Field. See? Cultivated land. It's basically the symbol for fire and the symbol for a field. That's literally it. This is fire, and this is a field. That's it. So I kind of like to imagine like a campfire or something, or some sort of chimney field. Yep. Again, I'm going really fast in terms of everything, and I'm sorry, but as you can see, I had 200 freaking flashcards. Dwindle. I remember this. Something like that. I think I got the order in which I drew the things wrong, but as you can see, it's kind of there. Awful quality, camera won't focus, but trust me on this one, I got it right. Environs. Yep. A road with knives. How is it? Well, when I was a kid, I was never really allowed outside, and I never knew what was around me and what was close by. I never knew my environment, as if the roads had a lot of knives. This is basically the kanji for sword, knife, and stuff. Frost. I forget completely. With a cloud. Okay. Line in. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's to a side, you have a towel. So imagine like you have like some sort of maid with a towel on their shoulder or something. They're making the bed with linen and stuff. That's my story. It works for me. Monkey. Okay. So it was the dogs and on a little crook with a scarf. This is a way too complicated story, but just trust me on that one that says that's monkey. Sorry. Alright. In fact, we can do it real quick. There it is. Sorry. Sorry. Macaco is monkey. Treasure. Oh yeah, I felt earlier. This one. So under your roof, you have that. Takara. Takara. There it is. Treasure. Takara. Tag. Okay, I kind of like this one, and I'm gonna forget it now that I said that. Oh, we still got it. Nice. Well, the way it goes up, it's not the cleanest, but it's a tag. That's, for me, the way I remember it, you know how in Tanabata, this, it shows up in anime a lot and stuff. It's like this festival in the 7th of July, where from these tree or bamboo things, they put their wish on like a little thing. Well, I think of this as a tag, a normal tag, and hanging from a tree. So you have the tree, then you have the little thing the tag is being held from, and then you have the tag itself, which is in this case invisible. Intimidate. Yep. I don't want to get into that one, but that's intimidate. That was packed, I believe. Packed. It was. Enemy. Ooh. This was tricky. Yeah, I forget exactly how it went. Unfortunately, I believe it has something to do with this and this and this. Close enough. So, well, as you can see, kind of close enough, and this is not quite right on the left. Because I forgot completely that it's a standing. I covered, and it's a no thing. This is the kanji or radicals for something that's old and antiquity, I guess. Is that it? I'm thinking of antigüedad in Spanish. Antiquity, yeah. Okay, see. I do know some English. Oh, that's the Kujira. Well, it's not common. You probably usually write whale with kana, as far as I'm concerned. But it's basically fish. That was a very poorly drawn fish. And capital. That's the kanji for capital. Capital. That's tricky. This is the most basic one. I don't even need to explain anything. Scaffold and damio again. So it was 3, 1, 2, 3. You cannot see very well, but I did get it right. I think this was correct. As in literally the word correct, yes. As in the first step is correct. It's just think of it if you think of this as a step, and then you put the number 1 on it, you gotta make sure your first step is correct. If you're going completely the wrong way, you're fucked. There's a more interesting story there in the book. Below, so there's above and below. These are the characters for that. Not really very hard. You can see exactly why. It's one of those that you just can just see. Thankfully, few littles. It's good, right? Squishy. Oh, is this squishy or no? Chisai. Squishy. No, it is Sukoshi. Oh, okay. No, Chisa is this. Chisa is this. Skoshi. This. My bad. I did not mean to sink anything. Tomaru to stop. I'll actually explain this one because I like explaining this one. Tomaru. Okay. So it's basically it's very simple. You have these strokes, right? So I just imagine this little stick as a person. This other two sticks as a traffic light. And then they're on the road. And that's it. You see? And that's the kanji to stop. Buddhist temple. It can get kind of busy on my pages, but don't worry about it. There it is. Buddhist temple. Technique. Oh my. There's so many kanji to go through. I kind of feel bad because I'm giving like zero explanation sometimes, but again, you don't necessarily have to follow everything. I also just encourage you to do your own studies while we're kind of chilling and relaxing here. Technique, I have no clue. Okay. Brocade we did earlier. So imagine a gold decoration on a white towel. You cannot say very well, but yes. Inter mutual. Yep. It's that. It's more of a radical, but it's also failure. Oh, this one I really like. So this one is gonna be used for money a lot. So if you fuck up, the taskmaster is gonna take your money. So don't fail. Failure means you get no money. Intimidate. I did this one earlier. Something along those lines. You cannot see it, but it's there. Linen. We did this one earlier. Kuro. This is black. This is a color. It's very common. I could explain why it's black. Have you guys seen the meme of a laptop that catches on fire as it's running Genshin Impact, and it says, "Hey, unless it's portable, I can take it on the go and whatnot." I kind of just like remembering that, and think of a PC catching fire becomes black. That. By the way, these below, whenever you see them on a kanji, it's fire. You can think of it as a stove that's below, right? Just heating up things. Undertake. Yeah. Seedling. Yep. Attractive. Oh, it's the one I felt earlier. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, attractive, we start with a woman, because of course we do. And then it's kind of like the kanji for angel, except not really. But yeah, you guys had good luck at work, Jamik. Thanks for stopping by again. I guess I should start with the grammar then, if people are gonna show up at the start and then have to leave. I did not expect that, but okay. Have a good day. See you around, Jamik. Pupil. I forget. I know it has to do with I. Wow, I don't remember that one at all. Here, so. Pupil. Yeah, there it is. Begin with the double word of the keyword pupil, which both the eye and someone you take and you do wing and teach them, right? A pupil. Oh, right. So the part on the right is for a juvenile. Okay, so here's when we're gonna get start with this a little bit more. So yeah, standing up on computer. Oh, right. Okay, so the story I have for juvenile is I think of my little brother a lot actually. So he would wake up or get out of bed or just stand up in the mornings like this, and the first thing he'd do, because he's young and doesn't know any better, would be to go play with the PC because he's juvenile. And then if under your eye you have a juvenile, it becomes a pupil that you're teaching, training. Fun stuff, right? You can see that there's not a very good explanation for why this is standing up. It's just very common. That's it. It will show up a lot, so you learn it. And then you can see exactly why this is a PC. That's the screen. That's where it's standing on, and then you have a keyboard. You can just have a little mouse here. It's whatever. Makes sense, right? And then you think an eye is of this, then you make it into enough form. You can see that the inside is supposed to be the. Oh yeah, so that's your pupil. I put it as correct instead of as wrong. I should put it as wrong. But I'm just really used to pressing the space bar. Frost was, so you have on a cloud. Okay. Oh, you didn't see it very well at all, do you? But yeah, that's supposed to be the rain, and then the rest of it. Goas, to destroy. Demolition. Close enough. This one is one of those that shows up so much on anime and shit that you eventually come to learn it anyway. Goas. To break, destroy, demolish. This one has an interesting story. It's basically my grandma loves sewing and making clothes and stuff. So if on the ground, it's this, because it's the kanji for soil as a radical, I ever see needles, because this is usually for a needle. I have the needle, as in, needle with an eye and stuff. And clothes, it's this. This will only ever happen if there's some demolition at her house or something. Why does it make sense to me? I don't know, but I remember it properly. So there you go. It was. Oh, and this is a pit. Oh, and this is kid gold. This shows up so much as a radical and in many places. You will not forget this ever. There's no way. Called splash of waves. So when water splash reaches its end or extremity, when we showed up earlier, we showed it earlier, then the wave, the water reaches its extremity and reaches shore, and it makes a good old splash. Made in. Hold up. This one requires. I believe it was like that. Yeah, I knew I was missing. We'll mark it as wrong. But earlier we had the kanji for system, which was this. So when you systematically made a lot of clothes, and a lot, I kind of think of made in, and specifically made in China. I don't know why. Logic. This one is actually a very interesting kanji. And then keep doing the radicals wrong. It's this. Usually read as ri, or where I see it. So for example, Ryu, as in reason. Well, for reason you need logic, and it also comes up in a bunch of other places. Yeah. Well, not that often, but simply by the fact that it's on Ryu for reason, and that word is fairly common. This one I remember. Technique. What the? Oh yes, okay. Well, you're doing it impressive. It was this, wasn't it? Oh, with flowers and stuff. Yeah, I don't remember. Okay. That is okay. That right there is one of the most common verbs you can see, to read. It is this one has a more intricate story, but basically you have on the left to say and on the right to sell. Okay, so when you're reading stuff when you're saying stuff as if you're trying to sell something, basically you're reading a script of a sponsorship. that's what I think of. These YouTube videos, there's usually this sponsorship that they always say the same thing because they're reading. Yeah, because they're saying things to sell. Why this is to sell? Well, you're gonna have to think of a samurai with a crown and legs, and that has a more intricate story that I'm not gonna get into because we have a lot of things to go through. Wasn't that, I forget the English word, tabi? Warrior, no. I was thinking of something else. Warrior, yep. Revolve. Oh, jeez. Yeah, now, this is what happens when you slack on your kanji practice. That makes a lot of sense. You have your car, and your wheels are revolving so much they make some smoke. It's very simple. Oh, that scarf's on, yeah, dark brown. Yes. I remember now. We'll get into that story whenever it shows up again. Ho! This one is very common. It's this. Subete. There we go. Subete. Everything. Oh, the whole. No. Yeah, no. So, there. It shows up a lot in words and stuff. It's an important one to know. I notice it doesn't have the little things. The two, because if you have two little pellets down here, two little things, it becomes gold again. But for the other, it's just whole. Make sure not to mistake them. Again, this is finished or extremity, yeah, and I mean chorus, but they have another meaning, like tune. Not chorus. Close enough, but no. Again, castle. Well, this one, if you watch enough Isekais, you'll kind of know. I believe it was like that. Almost. I forgot a little thing. You cannot even see it. Yeah, here it is. Yes, because it's a parade. I forgot. Oh, this was a article. Don't ask me why. That's some sort of clothing, garment, I believe. Garment, there we go. Shoe. I know this one is for week and commemorative events and for going for full circle. Week, yes, there you go. Shoe. There it is, week. Shukan, also week. Well, shukan is for like a period of week. So, shu, week, shukan, week. Laishu next week, Senshu last week, Shu Matsu weekend. This one is an important one. And the explanation, it's a bit too complex right now without the help of the book. Yeah, parade. Turn into, yeah, whoops, never mind. Oh, turn into, yeah. Man, it's been far too long. Mix, yeah, there was no way I could remember that one. Pearl. Levi. This one, it's the one I was confusing earlier. So you have the money and then a warrior comes to collect it. It's kind of a sort of tax. And I got it wrong anyway. So put it again. I got it wrong because, and though it might seem correct, I put the small thing here. And that is incorrect. Oh, this one we saw earlier. This is monkey. Salut. What was it again? I forget. I believe it's salut. Right? Salut, yep. Creek. This one, I never knew very well, actually. Yeah, there's no way. Okay. What was this? Load. We got it. Cool. Cow. This one is very, very common. well, maybe not that common, but it's this. There you go. Copper. So you have the one for metal and the one for same. You get copper. You figure out that way to make that story. Oh, what was it? Assist? No, what was it? Was it really? Receive. This is Scrum School. You got the tall guy and the fat guy. There's no good way to explain it fast. You will ball. Dama. That's it. Oh, yeah, we saw this one earlier. Failure. Your money on the left will be taken by taskmaster on the right if you fail. Again, we saw this earlier. Pupil. So your eye, pupil, juvenile, because they wake up for the PC. Warrior. Okay, so I remember now. So you have your arrows and stuff, and you always supposedly to stop the fight. That's what a warrior is supposed to do. They're more to stop the fighting, technically, or in theory at least. And I'm only saying that because I don't really remember the full story. I just kind of remember that concept in general. There are so many that eventually you don't have the most clear of pictures, but you have enough clear in terms of abstract concepts that comes to your mind that you just cannot quickly associate with the kanji. I'll put that again because I failed it earlier. Maiden. Jeez. Should probably be using this or this. We saw this one earlier. Basically, you have the cow tied up to the saws. Clothing. It's really hard to make that kanji small. It has so many big radicals. It looks something like that. Oh, scenery. Yeah. Oh, that's Mitsumi. That's in lake. Technique. I felt this one already like twice. Flowers and then smoke. Yes, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna stop with the Heisig kanji for today. Because there's way too much. So there's way too much. We're gonna be here forever. I probably could go faster. I wasn't streaming it and trying to give explanations, but I'm kind of half-assing the study and half-assing the explanations, and I'm sorry about that, honestly. Once I'm actually caught up on everything, I think the streams will get much better. Let's go to internet pickups, where I can actually, instead, I can just explain you the meaning I saw them as, the reading, in the particular context I found them on, and why these are. This is actually vocabulary that you can actually use. To continue, Tsuku. Let me remember the kanji. Goddamn. Yeah, I cannot. I'm pretty sure it. Yeah, no. Right. Okay. That, ladies and gentlemen, it's a good. And it has the, yep, because you're selling the thread. I'm just gonna copy it a couple of times to make sure I remember. Thread, you copy it, it's a good, yeah. Isogashi, busy. Expect that word a lot. Maybe not here, but if this ain't a very, very common word. Isogashi. Oh my god. Jesus. Oh boy. Okay. I remember. I remember. Hold up. I'm trying to. Okay, this is the kanji for himitsu. It's just a pain in the ass, and I've always forgot it, but it comes up often enough that I wanted to learn it. I forgot the rooftop, but other than that, we kind of got it. Sort of. You're gonna have to trust me on that one. That's himitsu. Oh, this one is genjitsu for reality. No, yes, genjitsu. Reality, actually. So there's two ways to say reality. There's genjitsu and there's shinjitsu. And I'm very kind of unsure of exactly what each of those are. As in, how exactly are they different? So, shinjitsu. Truth, reality, but then you also say or search genjitsu. Reality, actuality, hard fact. I'm pretty sure the one tends to hear more often, or at least in anime, the media consume a lot. You hear genjitsu more often, as in hard fact. The reality is like, oh, we cannot stand up against such a powerful foe. That's the reality of the situation. Genjitsu. Right. I assume. Tokyo. I really don't have much else to say about that. That's Tokyo. Sure is. Rakugaki. I forget the order. I know. Oh, yeah. I remember. Do I though? Jeez. Okay, I think I got close enough. Yeah, I forgot the mouth. Okay. Usually you will not see rakugaki written as as kanji, like shown there. You will usually not see it written on kanji, but you will most likely see it as just hiragana. Which would be raku. Damn, I'm pretty bad. Gaki. Something like this. Something like that. Okay, my kana is not the best. But I found it interesting to learn it anyway because it means the kanji on the left is to or a toss, to drop, to something falls. And then on the right is to write, as in. So I kind of find it interesting how kanji for the rakugaki kind of makes sense when it comes to graffiti, but it's usually used as a doodle or a sketch or a quick draft. You see it a lot on Twitter if you follow artists. Most of the time they'll just write AKGK, Rakugaki. Daisetsu, important, valuable, cherished. There's two ways to say important, daisetsu and daiji. There have small different connotations that depend on the context and all that, and that's when it gets very Japanese. To come, guru, right? Guru, a verb. So this one is a very interesting verb because it's read as guru, basically. But when used as a radical and in its many forms, you usually read it as ki instead of so a lot of the times it's gonna be kita, as in it came, right? Imashita. Or even for to be able to do something, it's wow, hold up. Something, I believe it's dekiru. Wow, that's an awful rule that became a meme. Anyway, so I'll look it up here. Dekiru. To be able to be up to a task. Dekiru. Dekiru. There it is. As you can see, on the left is de or deru, or das, to just come out, to leave, and then to come. If you combine it somehow, it's to be able to do something. Dekiru. Mirai. On the left, it's the kanji of something that's not complete, not done, not yet. And then you have to come. So I like to think of the future as what's not yet happened and what's to come. Mirai. Interesting. So this is Shoken, I believe. Shoken. Oh, Shoken. There it is. Shoken. So, this is to see for the first time. A lot of VTubers will put it on the stream when they're playing something for the first time, or just streamers, honestly. As in they're seeing the game for the first time, Shoken. Whenever you are saying or watching a stream for the first time, or you want to say, hey, I'm a first time viewer, this is my first time on the stream, or it happens a lot actually in Japanese chats, and they will say Shoken this. They'll put this kanji this. Like, hey, this is my first time. Hi. A quick introduction. It's very common. And then the streamer will often say Shokensha irashai, which is if you put this little character sha, it will say basically the first time person or just first time viewer. In a way, sha just kind of makes it for person. It's a very interesting kanji that you will see often a lot on afterwards to mean like the person doing it. Basically, so Shokensha, or so if you ever hear a streamer say Shokensha irashai, or you see in chat and read this Shoken, first time viewer. Saishin, latest, newest. On the left, it's a very common kanji for sai, which is means the most or the utmost, and this is new, so newest. You can also put this with high, so and make saiko best, or the tallest. You can put it with the verb with strength, or make saikyo, or strongest, right? Very common in anime and stuff. Yishin, self-confidence. This is for self, and this is for truth and stuff, something like that. Don't remember, self-confidence. Yishin. Yishin ganai. 全く寂しい I believe. Lonely. Yep. 寂しい common enough. Common enough. 寂しい Lonely. 間に合う This is actually a word with particle then by a verb. And basically, it's more like a saying, I guess, or a phrase. It's to make it in time. This is usually for intervals or a lot of times to count intervals of time. Really, G is for hour, and then if you put this, it becomes jikan for like an hour. We saw earlier for shukan, I believe it was. Oops. There we go. Shukan, yeah. For like week, in terms of a period of a week. So to make it in for that period, and then needs for that period, to that period in a way. And ao is to fit, basically, usually. Or unite, to meet. So if you kind of meet in that interval of your, come together to that interval in a way, you made it in time. That's basically the way. It's interesting to think about it in a way, but just you ever see this ma ni ao to make it in time, or to or reformation, change, and reiterate. Aratamete. And I forget exactly how it goes, but I think it was something like this. No. That, okay. So let me write it here real quick. I believe. Hey, there we go. It looks very jank. I kind of did it very poorly. Aratamete. Usually I kind of think of it as a once again, or like, because for example, maybe someone introduces themselves or something, and they talk about something or something else happens in the meantime, and then they say, oh, well, one more time, or again, thanks for making business, or I'm this, I don't know. They're basically reinstating information you already know. It's hard to explain, really, thinking about it. But say you introduce yourself, you say hi, yoroshiku onegai shimasu, right? I'm not even gonna bother trying to localize yoroshiku onegai shimasu. If you know a little bit of Japanese, you probably know what it means. So you ever you say that, for example, yoroshiku ne, go on a tangent, things happen in between, and then you're gonna say goodbye, but you still wanna be on like terms or something. You go like, well, thank you again, or again, looking forward to stuff. You just go like, aratamete yoroshiku onegai shimasu, right? Something like that. There are many ways to use aratamete, but that's like the first one that comes to mind. Underwear. I blame Twitter for this, but again, I believe it was like that. Shitagi. Yep. Below and clothing. It's a very poorly done clothing, and the camera is not helping. Neither is the lighting. But clothes under underwear. Wow, what do you know? Nose. Hana. Jeez. Okay, this one I don't like this. No, okay. Okay, so let's practice it a bit. Again, there are no real stories for this one. There are things that do help me memorize this one, but there are no real stories. This one was a bit more brute forced. But that's not news. Whoa. Okay. Got it. So I know it starts like this, and that's about all I remember. An insect. Yes. That's it. 今日は何いらっしゃい。久しぶりだよね。Wow, that was awful. こんにちは。こんにちは。あ、今日はじゃなくてか。Bean please. That's it. Yep. なんか忘れた。だから。Yeah, I kind of forgot this kanji, so even though it's common enough, I should know it. That's it. Oh, jeez. たくさんの読み方があります。Yep. 漢字たくさんの読み方があります。はい。So, yeah, I'm so used to just saying it as kyo that but yeah, you know, it makes sense. Yeah, actually the first time I learned that I thought it was actually konnichiwa, and I read it as konnichiwa in wrong places, and then I realized no, okay, they're just saying today kyo way more often. But not. Oh, 楽しい. There's really no need to explain this kanji much more than that. Also, I kind of find drawing this kanji a lot of fun. It just has that fun vibe. 楽しい. Recently, 最近, なんだっけ? So I know the sai parts because it's too common not to know. Wow, it looks kind of bad when I do it this small, but trust me on that. Saikin, I believe it was this. Saikin, hi. Recently, Saikin. This is the kanji for chikai, close. So the closest thing, I guess, the most recently, Seikin, I don't know. To persevere, oh, Gambaru, hi. How did it go again? Jeez. I should have seen Gambaru often enough that I should already know it, like, straight up. So that's the first one. God. Oh yes, I remember now. Oh my! It looks so jank. Okay, it looks so very jank. And I actually messed up the left part. I did the two. So I did this instead of doing this. I'm just gonna put it again simply because it was hard. Kawaii. Kawaii. Scary. This one I kind of really like. So, how was it? This, like this. Kawaii. Like this. To the left, usually it's the radical I associate with heart. And then to the right is a kanji we saw earlier on Heisig kanji for linen. So when you're under your linen on your bed, your heart is beating, you're scared. Something scary. Kawaii. That's how I like to remember it. Gin. Silver. Also, it says I'm doing well simply because I'm catching up on all the kanji and studies I already knew. Will probably not be doing so well once I start with new stuff. That's gin, silver. I should put it closer together to make sure it's an entire kanji and not kin and yoi for good. Oh, you mean in general? Well, thank you. Later on we'll move on to grammar and stuff. To get tired, tsukareru. Tsukare. Tsukare. It's such a common word. Do I remember the kanji? Fuck. Grammar is weird. I actually like the aspects I've seen of grammar. It's just some concepts are hard to grasp. Yeah, there's no fucking way I remember tsukareru. Yep, there we go. Got it. So I can like whenever it shows up, I kind of read it. I can sort of be able to read it. I cannot recognize it when I see it, but when you're telling me to write it on paper straight up from memory, then it becomes a bit harder to do so. Tsukareru. Read it? Yes. I do like the writing though. I think it's fun and entertaining, and it does help with studies. That's why you don't. Yeah, that's fair. That's understandable. Tsukareru. Yeah, actually, I'm very decent on writing in Japanese on my phone. I've gotten very used to the sliding things. So I believe it's u and o and e. You're saying it backwards because of the camera. But I'm actually getting very used to the sliding and typing in Japanese on the keyboard. And in the keyboard it doesn't matter. But yeah. I don't think I'll have to write it a lot by hand, but I find it fun, interesting, and that will help to memorize. Different ways to study, you know? Different learning methods. Yeah, goddamn. Oh, there you go. The thing is, yeah, well, that's junk. Takes years. It takes years? Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, no hurry whatsoever. Also, I know that by practicing this kanji, I'm completely gonna fuck up later on if it shows up kare, as in him. Or, you know, if you put the woman kanji later, kanoja, as in her. I'm completely gonna fuck that one up because it starts kind of like the same with the same radical, if I remember correctly. This inside, you mean this? Oh, that one. Oh, that one. No. Oh, you mean inside this? Okay. No. I mean, I should. I've seen it often enough. I'm not brute forced it yet, or I'm not seen it enough by itself to know it. What does it mean? Okay, hold up. Skin. Okay, study it. Gawa. Skin. Gawa. Gawa or gawa? Gawa. No, gawa. Okay. Sure. Yeah, okay. Makes sense. This is the tried and true method of copying and writing a lot. I didn't want to add new words until I caught up with all the fucking 200 flashcards I had. But, you know. You don't know what it is? Interesting. Okay, good to know, good to know. Oh, it makes a lot of sense. Holy shit. If it's associated with sickness. Yeah, if you're tired, if you're as fuck, yeah. Skin and sickness. Byoin, hospital, yep. Itami, pain. Naruhodo, hi. Okay, we'll learn those soon after. You'll have to remind me about those. I'll actually put them on a memo real quick. I'm outside the screen, I know. But, Itami. Itai, wrote in a small little memo, as you can see there. Will be useful later on. Daiji, important. Oh, I put the other one as correct. Okay, hold up. That one's Daiji, I know that one. What was it that I fucked up? Tired. Tsukareru. Change to date. How many days? We'll put it as 0. Tomorrow. I was saying I kind of need to relearn it now. Okay, I fixed it. Rakugaki. Again, not common to see it written with kanji at all. I've seen it like twice. But, again, find it interesting to drop a writing, a doodle. Sketch. Lonely. Sabishi. I believe it was like, oh my god. I kind of forgot what goes here. That. Oh, that. There you go. Okay, so I can read Sabishi. I cannot write it. Kiru, this is to wear clothes and stuff, mostly. Let me keep trying to learn Tsukareru, write it a couple more times, and then we'll try to write Sabishi as well. Oh, also I should put Gawa on the memo. Gawa. No, it's not Gawa, it's Gawa. 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 There we go. That's better. That's 6. Yes, yes, it really is. Again, so to learn stuff like that, where Yeah, no, I know. Because that's mostly how I do Heisig kanji, and then they show up here. But yeah, no, knowing those is very, very useful for sure. So now that I kind of know gawa for skin, I can put the small radical. And there you go. Tsukareru. A very scuffed tsukareru, because this almost looks like a wa, almost like a ne. That's good. God damn it. And then the one I messed up was sabishi as well, which there we go. Whoops, I did not mean to go to the next one. It's sabishi and samishi, right? It's both. Sabishi and samishi. Is there any difference in samishi and sabishi? Oh, I guess that. Okay. Loneliness. Yep. Sure is. Heavy. Amoi. I kind of really like writing this kanji. I find it fun. I don't know why. To wait. Matsu, right? Why did I forget? What was it? Oh, we got it. I got it. I remembered. Bets of luck. You're gonna have that. Thank you. Okay. Also, god damn it. Okay. I just realized next stream I will start with the grammar and then I'll do the gamare. Arigatou gozaimasu. Gamarimasu. Thanks for the help. Also, I appreciate that. Also, yeah, next time I'll start with the grammar since it seems more people show up early and then leave for work and stuff. Makes sense. We'll do. Oh, speaking of gambaru. I swear I'm not cheating with chat. You're gonna have to trust me on that one. There we go. This time, got it A-okay. Impeccable. Nice. That is, got it. Wasn't him. He. Because it's skin and one person. Knowing that is the radical for kawa, for skin, actually makes this one easier to learn as well. Ladies, newest, Saishin. Again, we saw it earlier reading. I'm doing a wonderful job working out my brain, Dallas. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh my god, how the fuck was it? Because I know this part goes like this. I think it was that. And that'd be correct, Saishin. Truth reality. True reality as in Shinjitsu. Give me a second, I'll do it in a moment. Jeez. Fuck you. You should have seen that comment. Yeah. Work out your muscles instead. It's fine, it's good. Let me just do Shinjitsu real quick. Shin と、実、真実。怖い。Scary. 大事。Important. Big deal. A strong mind and body must work in tandem. Sure. You do realize it's kind of hard with my setup right now, right? Because my goodness. Okay, let me take out my poncho, I guess. Can you see it even? Fucking take out the headphones as much as I like that sound. I'm gonna assume you can see it. If not, well, fuck you. One, Crunching something too. なんだこれ。ちょっと待って。もっと。No, there was some good form. Yeah, I tried to pay attention to my form now that you called me out on it. You mean Naga? No, this is. なんだこれ。わかんねえ。And the extension is not helping. なんだちょっと。Oh, radicals. なるほど。Oh, yeah, no, I know this one. I know this one. I know this one. And, yeah. Oh, for Gambaru. Hi. Wow, that took me way too long to put together because I saw it separately. Jeez. Yeah, King. Okay, now let's get hydrated a little bit. This freaking phantom mat. Yumi, hi. Yeah, that one I didn't know. That one, well, I mean, I kind of knew it. It's just I didn't really know it because not seeing it on Heisig kanji yet. It's usually when I go through Heisig kanji, I just make sure I look up everything and make it clear. And then it really helps out when I'm trying to brute force some other words. Yeah, for my own good. Yeah, I know. I put it there for my own good as well, you know? Like, that's the whole point. Saikyo. Yep. Oh my god, I forget Kyo. Even though I literally put in the title for Benkyo. Kyo, なんだっけ。忘れた。なるほど。You know? Okay. Now that that's a bow, I cannot unsee The strongest being a bug with a bow. Because that's mushy, right? The radical. Saikyo. Hi. Tsuyoi. And now I can even see a little bug with, yeah, dude, imagine. Holy shit. My bad. Whoops, sorry about that. Now, the angle is kind of fucked up. That should be okay, right? Oh my. So imagine a little bug. Okay, let's say an ant. And they just finally get this fucking bow. Imagine if the bug is like standing up. And the little bug. And they just go pew. Impossible. Lonely. Again, we saw that earlier, but I fucked it up. Sabishi. Hi. Kiku. Okay, this is a very interesting one because when you hear kiku, to listen or to hear, it's usually this. You're gonna usually see this, which is to hear. But this one, I just put here kiku. It's to actually listen and pay attention to what you're listening. So it's a difference between hearing and listening. Kiku, it's probably way more common and way more often. But see, this is what I love about Japanese. You can change the context just by changing the kanji and like give it this nuance. So even though both are like kind of like to listen and to hear, this one is more like to pay attention and whatnot. Like, it's very interesting. So kiku, but well, is it kiku or kiku? Maybe I think I'm butchering it. Kiku. Kiku. Chotto. There we go. Kiku. Kiku. Alright. Kiku. Hi. There we go. Daiji. Important. Big deal. Again. Yeah. Flower garden. Wow, back in the day, this was very clear for me. But nowadays I cannot remember it at all. Yeah, I cannot even remember the kanji for hana. As in flower. I mean, I know garden is this. Oh wow, it's awful. You cannot see it. Oh, it's really bad. I'll do it bigger here. And garden is this. So that is garden. And then I completely forgot the kanji for hana. I only know the radical for hana. Hana. There we go. Oh, and then, okay, yeah, now I remember. So now that we got hana, and it becomes a flower garden should be hanaso. No, what was it? Hanaso. What was it? Look, let's flag it up. Don't forget Hanatsono. 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 Hi. Well, you know, I don't remember this one at all. Hanatsono. So I remember the one for garden good enough. Let me do Hana a couple of times. not. I did the thing again. Is this Higashi, by the way? Higashi. I think it was that there, east. Higashi. 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 There we go. I got it right. Anyway, what? Hanatana flower card. Set due date to 0 because I messed it up. Yadoru. Right, to take shelter, I believe it was, or an inn, yeah, or it's also, yes, yado for inn, to make it a verb, oh, yado, yado, yadoru, yadoru, right, is it? No, it's yadori. Yado and yadori. Okay. Basically, to go, to remain, to stay at, to take shelter, to stop at, lodge at. That's how I found it. Because I kept seeing pictures or illustrations and stuff like that on Twitter. And they'd have this, this quote, this written this. I kept saying that, especially during the Tsuyu rainy season. I keep seeing this amayadori in illustrations and in pictures. I keep seeing it constantly, which means to take shelter from the rain. And you can try to imagine what kind of pictures they had. Amayadori. 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 That man, intonation, pitch accent, it's hard. Fuck. Let's see. Got it.
雨宿り
Amayadori. Amayadori. I'm sorry if that's too loud. Also, I'm guessing the music volume is fine, right? Last time it was too loud and it really bothered me and no one told me shit. No, I still have more space around here. I'm way too self-conscious when it comes to... oh, this one is from the one from earlier. Higashi. Oh, this honky. Right. Honky. Honky. I'm a big fan of Ki. Ki, big fan. Yeah. Oh, Genjitsu again. Jitsu. So Jitsu, it's somewhat important, somewhat common. In fact, you may have heard, or at least in anime and stuff, a very common thing to say or to start with is Jitsu wa. And the reality is when they're gonna tell the truth or something, or say something, you know, that not said before, that, or like that's, you know, a reveal of some sort to the character. Well, it's kind of common to hear Jitsu wa, and that's where it kind of pick Jitsu from. Genjitsu. Photograph, sashin. I believe it was like this. Shashin. My bad. Not sashin. Shashin. It doesn't need the roof at all. Okay. Oh, Mitsugi. Hi. In a bit. So, Shashin. There it is. So here it's not being, yeah, there, see, it goes through, kind of like I did it, but yeah, it doesn't have the little top and the thing, so I messed up. Mitsugi, that's, you know, very easy, very straightforward. Yep. This is, you open up Twitter in summer, you're gonna see this kanji a lot. It was inevitable. I picked it up. This has to be a hoshi, right? Wanted, sorry. Yep. Hoshi, 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 hoshi. Yep, sure is. Strongest, we did it earlier, but we messed up. Saikyo. But now, I cannot unsee the bow and the bug. Saikyo. There we go. Koto. Koto. So, this just means literally thing, mother, yeah. And the matter is, the thing is, or about that thing, about that issue, about that matter, about that, koto, there's no good way I can explain koto. There's no good way at all. You just kind of know it. You just kind of get it. Because I really know what it is, but you just kind of take it as a thing. A matter, just a thing. Like how do you explain the word thing when it's just thing? Next, tsugi. I believe it's like this. It is correct. Oh man, this song is really quiet. Holy shit, this song is quiet. There, right? Can you hear it now? Long, superior, as in, so this is nagai, long, but you usually read it and see it by itself as cho at the very end. Usually for like bucho, for example, president, cho, as that, kai cho, I think. Cho, you see it a lot. It usually goes at the end of some sort of title, and it's usually something like president or something like with a high status. But if you ever see it with the little thing afterwards, the e, you're reading it as a nagai, for something that's long. Kanashi, sad, very sad, very sad. Man, that's a lot of words. I think, I'm sorry about that. I think we can move on to a bit more interesting stuff and go into grammar for now. There's a lot, as you can see, there's a lot of flashcards to catch up on. There's way too many. So we're gonna be doing that slowly but surely throughout these days. The problem is that every day it's gonna keep increasing. but I'm sure we'll catch up in like 2 weeks or one. Or what I could do is, if I find time, I could try to catch up offline, and that may make for a better stream, but also a shorter one. Okay, let's actually open up this. I love this notebook. It's so good. I don't know if you see it, but it has those little finishes with the light. It's so cool. It's so cool. Japanese grammar guide. Yo, Herald of Buddha, welcome to the stream. Just in time for the fun part. We were just checking a lot, and I mean a lot of flashcards and kanji and stuff. Now we're gonna review a bit of grammar and stuff. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. This is a lot of hiragana practice I did, because there's no way you start koko kara. Yeah, I even marked it. This means from here, basically. Go here, kara from. So from here, let's learn some basic koko kara. So this, some basic grammar. I've already studied all of this, but for the sake of starting this series on the first day, and the YouTube upload of the archive, we're gonna go through all of this, and reviewing all of these concepts is never a bad thing. Here, so in this book, it's basically online, Tag Kim's guide. Like I should put a command where I give you this book. Anyway, he says why you should use this grammar guide instead of other grammar guides. He then teaches you, hey, you're gonna need to learn hiragana. You're also gonna need to learn katakana. We got there. I'm good. I know both of those. And learning kanji, which we just spent like 2 hours doing. Anyway, let's start learning some basic Japanese. Shall we? There we go. So, going through this, the basic state of being, as in something is a thing, or something exists, something is there. Something is the most basic thing you can say in a language. Like, this is a pen, or take out the this is pen, right? The most basic thing you can say in a language. There's basically a single way to do it. So it's just, you just say it, you just straight up say it. Or you can use a declarative, usually a bit more for males, use da. Here's a very good summary of this chapter, honestly. So here it says gakusei, which is student. So basically you just stated gakusei da is student. It is. It just basically is. And then you can conjugate it to say it is not, and then you can also conjugate it to say it was or it was not. The most basic thing. So to conjugate the words, mostly nouns. Also, man, music got really loud. I'm so sorry about that. I was trying to explain and then the music got really loud. Man, balancing this playlist is rough. Sorry about that, but yes. Basically, if you want to say something, you just say da. Hello, my name is welcome. Where can I hear just pressuring myself to learning Japanese every morning, so I don't stop learning like I've done the past couple of years. Right now, I'm kind of doing a little bit of a review of everything I've seen, while making sure every others can follow as well. Again, so basic state of being. Either you just say the word tomodachi, for example, or gakusei, as stated here. you just say it. Or if you're a man, usually it sounds a bit more assertive, or more in a way, and you just say gakusei that. Also, it's in polite. There are ways to say things polite or not. This is the very, very basics. Then you can conjugate that to say it's not, and you add janai. Gakusei janai. So it's not student, basically. Or tomodachi janai. It's not a friend. And then you can make that into the past by adding datta. So gakusei datta was a student. Tomodachi datta was friend. And then if you want to say it was not, you make it negative first, right? So gakusei janai, and then that little e, you're always gonna take it out, and then you're gonna conjugate from there. So it'd be gakusei janakatta. It was not a student. And here's the basic table you can use. It's the most basic thing. Datta, janai, janakatta. Or it was. So it is. It's not. It was. Well, no. It is. It's not. It was. It was not. Makes sense, right? It's very basic. It's where you start. Then particles. Whenever you want to use a word on a sentence in Japanese, usually after set word, set verb, set thing, you're gonna need to have a particle that basically tells you what it is that word is doing in the sentence. And the most common one that you're always gonna be taught first is wa. So it's written as ha, right? As you can see, the hiragana ha, but it's always read as wa. So sometimes it can be tricky to know if you're supposed to read this as wa or ha when you see it on a sentence. But eventually, when you know the words and everything, it's a bit more intuitive. So it's usually what establishes what it is you're talking about, basically. Man, I'm not too good at explaining that. So right now I'm trying to explain and rather than learn myself. Yeah, I'm a big fan of particles as well. So it's gonna be a bit more awkward. But once I'm trying to learn new things, I'll just be reading and trying to understand it. But yeah, it's basically tries to say what it is that it is being talked about. The topic of the conversation, really. As said in my notes. So, for example, there's this word, this kanji, shiken. And I have a little example here. I have on my notebook written kyo wa, right? So we're talking about kyo, today. As you can see there, kyo wa shikenda. Shikenda, right? So about today, regarding today, that's the main topic. There's an exam. When today? When it's being talked about, the topic is, in this case, is today. And then an interesting thing that Japanese can do is like another person can say yon wa, right? As in John. They're trying to change the topic to John. So what about John? Which can be very difficult to understand at first if you're thinking it of in English of like, hey, today's an exam, and then you say John, right? Basically, because that's basically what you're asking, in a way. You're basically trying to talk big about John. So what about John? When does he have the exam? Because Japanese, it's a very contextual language, so you're gonna need a lot of context. Things are gonna get shortened a lot, and the context matters a lot. So, and the example ends with John wa ashita. Like, he has the exam tomorrow. It's basically what you're trying to say, but it comes out as about John tomorrow. So if you try to think of what as is and you try to translate into English, it says John is tomorrow, and it doesn't as you can see in example 2, it doesn't come out. So you have to think about it in Japanese. What is being taught about, really. That's my understanding of it. All I'm giving you right now is my understanding of it as we do a basic review of everything. Mo. Okay. Mo is basically the inclusive topic particle. So it's just, you can think of it as an and in a way. You're trying to add another thing to the conversation. Man, explaining this is hard, but I don't want to be reading concepts I already know. I kind of want to go faster through this, but it means also there. Not just and, but basically it means also, as you can see there. It introduces another topic on top of the one that you're using. Like, here's an example real quick. Aniswa Gakuse is Alice's student. In this case, Bob is talking to Alice, as you can see. There are many ways to refer to the other person, so not just you. In this case, name, and that's completely okay. And then it's which is just yes, a normal nod, very casual yes. Domo gakuse. So you have to use here mo, like as you're saying, like he's also studying. You're trying to include him. If you try to use wa, as in, it's gonna come out very weird, and it's probably gonna come out as if you're trying to say something else, and something like what was it? Some contrast really. I don't know if there's camera or anything that's better. This is probably better. Yes, so the inclusion of mo must be consistent with the answer also. Well, you cannot say Tomo gakusei janai, as in is also not a student, when you just said that you are a student, right? If you want to have that contrast, you're gonna have to, exactly as I've been saying, to change to wa, you're probably gonna want to use it demo, which means but, basically. So Aniswa Gakuse is Alice's student, or your student. It says like, demo Tom wa gakusei janai, as in yes, but Tom is not. About Tom wa, right? About Tom, he's not. Right, and that the also works for negative. That's why gakusei as in no. Tomo gakusei janai, as in Tom is also not a student. Right, very basic examples. Okay, now ga is a hard one to get. The identifier particle. For this, I'd rather read it. You can take your own conclusions. So we can make a topic using warmo. But what if we don't know what the topic is? If we want to ask who is the student, well, you need some sort of identifier. Because if not, you're basically saying is who the student, and that doesn't make any sense. Because who is not an actual person. Because if you were trying to say, so the word for who is dare. So if you were to say dare wa, you're trying to make dare who a topic, and you're trying to talk about a who or who. It just doesn't make sense, right? So if you have that clear, but yeah, so that's like the first thing. This is where the ga particles comes into play. Also referred as the subject particle, but he prefers to call it identifier particle because it indicates what the speakers wants to identify something unspecified, and that's not only for what we're going to see, but also characteristics in a bit. So dare ga gakusei, so like who is the one that is a student? So imagine you have a group of people. Oh my god. how do I even explain this example? Yeah, okay, so let's just read it. Bob wants to identify who among all the possible candidates is a student, and Alice responds that John is the one. She could have also said using wa, as in John wa, kakuse, but it's not really the way to go, as you can see here. Example 2, because yeah, let's go to example. I'm not very good at explaining this. Goddamn, I'm very good at learning stuff, and once I get to the new parts, it's gonna be more interesting. But explaining, not so much. Okay. The first sentence is 6 to identify. Ooh, hey, thanks for the follow. Sorry for the janky stream. It's gonna get better, I promise. So. The first sentence is to identify a specific person for a student, nare ga gakusei, right? Who is the student? Who is the one? While on the second, you say gakusei wa dare. So you cannot replace ga with wa in the first sentence because again, the topic cannot be just who. It is who a student is the what a localization to English would be, and it sounds off. Jeez. So okay, here's when it gets tricky because wa and ga may seem interchangeable in a bit, but they're really not. So you can say watashi wa gakusei and watashi ga gakusei. And they both kind of translate to I am student. However, when you're using wa, you're basically saying, okay, the topic is me, about me. I'm a student. Watashi wa gakusei. Well, in my case, watashi wa daigakusei. I'm a college student. But if you say watashi wa gakusei, in this case, it could also apply because I'm giving me a specific characteristic and a specific identification of I am the student. You can think of it as D, right? Trying to put a D first. It is actually what I put in my notes, as in like here, a little D. And in this case, it will work because let's say someone comes in the stream and they ask who's the student. Who's studying Japanese, right? And I can say I am the student. I am the one that's studying Japanese. I am the student. Watashi ga gakusei. I am the student in this stream and in this environment. Right? Even though hopefully you two are. Right? So that's like the best way I think to it, which is basically what he is explaining here. Like, as for me, I am a student. Watashi wa. Talking about me, the topic here is me. I am a student, that's it. But when you say ga, you're giving me, or, watashi, me, a specific characteristic, identification, right? That doesn't make sense. It's really hard to grasp it. And it can be hard at what points you can have to use wa, and at what points you have to use ga. But usually, if you want to give a characteristic, right? Say, for example, there's a phrase in Mega Man Battle Network, which I speedrun that game, in which a meme, in a way, funny text box, you can tell the lady on the counter that you want to ask for a passport. You can also say that she's pretty, and this is translated as Onesan ga kirei. Onesan, just for when kids talk to older ladies, mainly. And kirei is pretty, in this case. So if you were to say Onesan wa kirei, so about trying to talk about the lady, to say she's pretty, it's gonna sound wrong and come off, and people are probably going to expect some sort of contrast or something else. Onesan wa kirei kedo, as in but, or, there's something else, and it's not gonna come out okay. It's not gonna sound right. It's gonna come out very wrong. So since kire, pretty, is a characteristic, you really want to use ga. So you're giving her you have this thing, and then it's your pretty ga. That's a good way also I can explain ga. It's hard. You're gonna have to get used to it. Again, I should probably link Tai Kim's guide real quick so that you can all. Yep. Hold up. There it is. If you ever want to review anything that we're talking about grammar, all the information is there. I have it as a PDF downloaded because I find it better for the stream. So hopefully those three basic particles, wa, mo, and ga, are clear enough. Wa, basically think of it as, we're gonna kind of talk about this. That's the topic. Mo is you want to introduce another topic or another thing. You're gonna be talking about something else. Think of it as an also in English. I think it helps. Try not to think too many things as in, okay, this is the equivalent of in English. So you cannot say mo always means also. It's just the very basic general idea at first can be also, but don't try to think of it as that. Try to think of it as in Japanese, mo. Yeah, you're trying to be inclusive with another particle. And yeah. I really like the way Tai Kim says it as an identifier particle, and hopefully with that name you get it more clear. Again, ga and wa is it's hard to get for beginners, and I can still struggle with it here and there, but it's important to know. Adjectives. Speaking of characteristics and stuff. Adjectives, aren't they fun? So, yeah, here is basically saying that an adjective modifies the noun that follows. So you go with the adjective and then the noun, and you're giving it that characteristic, that adjective, honestly. And there are two main adjectives. There's the na adjectives and there's the I adjectives. There are two types. They conjugate in a different way. So it is important to know them, because when you want to modify them in some way or form, and knowing what type of adjective it is important. Thankfully, they're pretty easy to grasp, though. Geez. Sorry about that. I kind of need to drink when I'm talking so much. I should probably mute myself next time I do that. My bad. So, it's thankfully pretty easy to identify when a adjective is a na adjective or an I adjective. So for the most part, when an I adjective happens, when it ends in I, and it's usually when it's outside the kanji. So usually you'll see the kanji and then an I, right? So what's a good example of an I adjective I can give you? Oh, we saw it earlier when practicing kanji. Kawaii, for scary. That's a I adjective. Kawaii, right? So here, this is read as koa, and then the I, kawaii. So this I is outside the kanji, and that's because it's an I adjective, and it's very useful to conjugate later on. So that is usually most, if not all, it's almost all I adjectives. I. as far as I can tell, at least. Again, I'm not gonna pretend I know everything about Japanese at all. I'm still learning. So, and when usually you just see the adjective by itself, a normal adjective, both kanji doesn't end in e, like shizuka, right, for quiet, then you're good. It's just a na adjective. There are a bunch of others. It's a shame it doesn't have that many examples here. Actually, I think I can. Another example of an e adjective is hayai. Actually, I have a list of vocabulary here. I don't know if you can see this. It's kind of jank, but there it says hayai, and you can see the e. It's right outside the kanji. For fast. Well, here's an interesting kanji that you may have heard. Word that you may have heard around in anime or whatnot. Rippa, as in elegant or fine. Usually, when they say that, I don't know, you become a good magic knight or something. I forget what was it in Black Clover. Rippana. And usually, that's why it's called a na adjective, because when you try to use it with the noun that goes after it, you need to use a na. So if you wanted to say a silent person, you say shizuka na hito, or rippa na otona, like fine adult. Otona means adult, right? And that's it. You just use the adjective, adana, and then the word, or if it's an adjective, you just say the adjective on it. So you can say hayai kuruma for a fast car, I suppose. Example as good as an A. So there are two main exceptions for in terms of. There are two main words you're gonna wanna pay attention to that are very common, which are kire for we mentioned earlier for pretty or clean. That it's usually written in kana alone. So, but even though it ends in e in kana, it's na adjective. That's like, so it's important to know. And the other one is kirai, as in to hate. That is because of the kanji, the original kanji. The e is inside the kanji, not outside. And those are the two main adjectives. You have to make sure that you know that they are na adjectives and not e adjectives, even though they end in e, So, kirai and kire are both na adjectives, which is, I'm making sure because there's an example that says kire na hito, pretty person. One-san ga kire. There we go. Okay, so here it's also giving you the example of how ski, or to like something, is really an adjective. So you can think of ski not as to like, but something that's likable or desirable. And you can see here how it conjugates. Actually, here's a great example, like Bob wa, about Bob, sakana ga, we're going to give a characteristic to the fish, skida. So, about Bob, he find fish is desirable. So, we're basically saying Bob likes fish, but if you wanna, I like to think of it in Japanese in a way. So, about Bob, we're giving the fish a characteristic with ga, which is that it's desirable. And then we're gonna use the da for emphasis, so instead of being. So, Bob wa sakana ga ski. And because ski is a na adjective, you just conjugate it usually like normal, like nouns earlier with da, janai, datta, じゃなかった. It's exactly the same. So 僕は魚が好きじゃない. 僕は魚が好きだった. 僕は魚が好きじゃなかった. So good to know. Yes, if it bothers you that like is an adjective and not a verb in Japanese, you can think of ski as meaning desirable, as it says here. Okay, so when it comes to... Oh, here's another way to say it, because as you can see, we used an adjective, giving it like kind of like a right now, meaning like is a characteristic that we identify with ga, sakana ga ski. Where was I going with this? Anyway, yeah. Ski na is, again, since it's a na adjective, you cannot use it like this. More examples. Sakana ga suki na hito. Hito, as in person that likes fish. So this basically became an entire clause on itself. Sakana ga suki became an adjective, and then because it's ski, it's an adjective. You say na hito. Again, you only really need to use na when it's the adjective by itself. If it's the adjective in conjugated, you don't need to use na. So as you can see, sakana ga suki janai hito. Sakana ga suki datta hito. Sakana ga suki janai hito. Right? You know how you only ever use na when it's not conjugated. So for example, Shizuka datta hito, as in it was a silent person, right? Or quiet person, rather, not silent. Makes sense? Then and then we can even treat whole descriptive noun clauses as we would a single noun. So say as what we said earlier, sakana ga suki janai hito, right? About people that don't like fish. And we can make that as an entire topic. Wa Nico ga suki da. So people that don't like fish usually, they ignore the usually part, like meat, right? It's we can talk about clauses later. In fact, there's a chapter about it. But basically, you can make whole sentences like a topic or an adjective. As earlier, as we said, sakana ga suki. That is like to like fish or to find fish desirable. Became an adjective on itself, and not adjective, as we saw earlier. Sakana ga suki na hito. Anyway, and let's move to the e adjective. It's pretty much the same with it earlier, but the conjugation is a little bit different. Again, here he's telling you how kirai and here and kire are e adjectives, as I said earlier, because of the kanji. You can read it there for a bit if you want. But there's not much else you need to know about that. Kire and kirai are not adjectives. So as you can see here, kirai na tabemono. So you still have to add the na, because kirai it's a na adjective. But if you were to say oishii, that is an e adjective. You don't need to add anything. So you just say oishii tabemono. Make sense? Makes sense. Here, the little catch with e adjectives is how to conjugate them. So here it's using the adjective takai as an example to teach you how to conjugate. Usually the why, or I don't know if it's why or why not, but having the e outside the kanji for all e adjectives is pretty useful, because you can just take the e out and introduce other things to conjugate it, basically. Let's go through it. So if you wanted to say just the e adjective by itself, you just say takai in this case. Tall, high. Well, yeah, takai means tall or high, by the way, just in case you didn't know. Kind of moving a little bit faster than I'd like, but you know, takai. Then if you want to say that it's not tall, well, you take out the I and then add kunai. So takai, takakunai, as in it's not tall. Right? It's very simple. Take out the I and then add kunai. For the past, again, you take out the I and introduce kata like earlier. Takakata. Takakata. So it's taka, for takai, kata. And then it was tall. It was high. And then to make a negative in the past, you take, it's takai, you take out the I and you put nai, so that kunai, takakunai. So then, as you can see, nai also it's in I. So that I, you take it out, and it's takakuna, and then there you add kata, takakunakata, as in it was not tall. Here, let me zoom into this little table. As you can see here, takai, takakunai, takakata, takakunakata. Make sense? So when you see this na, basically, or kuna is the negative part, this kata, past. Makes sense, right? It's easy enough. So, and then here are some examples to make sure that you know. Biru, it's basically biru. It's for a building. I'm not a fan of katakana used for shortened English words, but anyway, takai biru, takakunai biru, takakata biru. Biru is short for building, I'm gonna assume. Just roll with it. Japanese, takakunakata biru. Yeah, makes sense? Makes sense, right? And then you can use the same thing we did earlier, that use an adjective to a noun and then have all of that be as a small clause that you can talk about. So for example, here is an example, which this is nedan for price. So nedan ga takai. So when the price is high, right? Price, use ga to give it a characteristic, which is tall or high, which is, the price is high. Nedan ga takai, restaurant. So you use all of this, nedan ga takai, as a little clause, as a little adjective, adjective, to restaurant. So nedan ga takai, restaurant wa, and then you talk, and so wa makes all of that a topic for your sentence. So restaurants with, in which the price is high. Man, it's much easier to think about it in Japanese than in actual English. But restaurants in which, so talking about restaurants in which the price is high, so nedan ga takai restaurant wa, right? Amari suki janai. So amari is not very or not much, and usually it's when you say something negative. So amari suki janai, it's like I don't like very much. In that case, that's a cool thing. Oh, an annoying exception. So there's an exception. Let's read through this real quick just to make sure I remember correctly. There's one E adjective meaning good. Everyone should probably know it by now. It's E, right? Double E. which the word for good was originally yoi, like this. However, with time it soon became e. When it's read in kanji, it's usually read as yoi, so it's almost always hiragana, correct? So if you ever see this, that's yoi. You can just read it as yoi, yoi, but it basically means good. It basically means e. However, all the derivations for e, as in good, come from the kanji version, from yoi. So whenever you want to conjugate e, so it was for, say, it's good, it was not good, it's not good. They come from yoku. So you can say e is good. Yoku nai, again, so it's double e. You take one of yoi, you take out the e, yoku nai, as shown here, right? Yoku nai, not good. Then yoi, you take out the e, yokatta. So you probably heard, if you've seen some anime or something, or VTubers or engaged in Japanese, yokatta basically means it was good. You probably heard it as a relief, or what a relief or something, right? Yokatta. And many other ways. Again, that depends on the context. The basic general meaning, the base meaning is it was good. Then again, but with context and other things, or that's at least my understanding. Again, if I'm wrong, you can correct me on that. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. Anyway, final conjugation, past negative, yoku nakatta. That's not good. Another little thing is that kakkoi is actually kakkoi, as in it looks good, I believe. Another adjective that acts like this is kakkoi. It's a subrogation of two words together, which is this and this, and because it uses e, it also has the same problem. So kakkoi becomes kakkoyokan, kakkoi becomes kakkoyokunai, kakkoyokatta, kakkoyokunakatta. Make sense? Well, following. So if you ever want to say it wasn't not cool, or like it was kind of lame, kakkoyokunakatta. No. Or you know, someone says like, oh, I don't want to do this because it's not cool, it's kind of lame, kakkoyokunai. So it's not, it conjugates with that. Anyway, that's adjectives. Yay. No adjectives, any adjectives. Verbs, oh my god. Okay, verbs are a harder topic to explain. So I'm gonna take a small break real quick. I'm gonna go drink some water and do some stuff real quick. I'll be back in a minute or two and we'll come back to verbs. You're gonna wanna pay attention to verbs. I understand verbs, but actually I do need a quick refreshment on verbs, especially when it comes to conjugating them. Verbs actually takes like 3 pages of my notebook, or 4. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna take a quick break and I'll see you in a couple of minutes. big fan of that LADX song they just played. I love having wireless headsets to be able to hear it while I refill my water. Also, I'm not gonna put my poncho on again because it's kinda hot. I do like the poncho as part of as a prop. It's part of my persona, I guess. I love the poncho, but right now too hot. Okay, so let's talk verbs, shall we? Verbs. Here, well, we start with a lot of examples, a lot of vocabulary that is useful, good to know. And here's when I started taking notes and highlighting stuff. Let's just go through the highlights. So we're not gonna go too in depth, but I want you to know basically how they are being used, what my understanding of them are. So verbs in Japanese, they always come at the end of clauses. So at the very end of like a sentence, really, of a clause, you need a verb. In fact, a full real sentence only needs a verb. You can just say taberu, to eat, and that's just a sentence, and it's fully grammatically correct because you have a verb. Hello, that boy. That's me, the real Dallas. So that is one cool thing to know. That is, yeah, as you can see, a grammatically complete sentence requires a verb only, including state of being. In this case, a state of being, it's been. No, yeah, that's it. You just need the verb. Okay, so there are two types of verbs mainly. There's the do verb and the u verb. Wow, I just kind of said Uber. I hate it. So depending on what type of verb it is, conjugates differently, behaves differently. So it's good to know how verbs work. I have a little flow chart I made here that says how to identify do verbs from u verbs. So basically, the first thing you want to ask yourself is, does it end in ru? Taberu, for example, does end in ru. But if you were to say yamu, to read, mu, it ends in mu. So there's no way that can ever be a ru verb. So it's immediately an u verb. So that's the first question. Does it end in ru? No. Yes. Okay. If it ends in ru, what does it come before that? So for example, taberu, before ru, you have be. That's e. So we still, in that, right, that's what we are going to be looking at. So if that hiragana, katakana, or I forgot the name for the syllable thingy, that comes beforehand, ends in a, u, or o, then what you have, it's always a u verb, a u verb, right? So let's see examples. Yeah, here wakaru. Actually, let's look up here because I'm not sure of the intonation for wakaru. You're still doing good enough, you think? Wakaru. Hi, wakaru.
わかる
Wakaru. You want to try to remember things? Yep. Yeah, you're welcome. And it's okay. We'll be going through the entire Tai Kim's book on these morning chill streams. And they're gonna be archived on YouTube with timestamp to the grammar part. So don't you worry about that. Exclamation mark socials, except right now I don't have anything on my YouTube except like 2 world records. But yes, anyway. Wakaru. Right, so wakaru, ka, as you can see, it's ka, it's ends in a, so it's always gonna be a u verb, u verb. So it doesn't matter. So if it doesn't end in ru, it's always a u verb. And if before the ru there's an a, an u, or an o, it's always gonna be another, again, a u verb. Then if it ends on e or e before the ru, that's when it gets complicated. Because that's when you basically need to go by feel and memorization, and you just kind of have to know. Basically, in fact, so much so that I made a little spreadsheet. It's usually, if it ends in e, well, if it has e or e and then alu, it's most likely going to be a ru verb most of the times. But most of the times it's going to be a ru verb. So you don't have to worry too much about it. But there are some common words, some common examples. I actually printed out the sheet that I have some basic, intermediate, and some advanced words that I'm pretty sure I took from a chart around here somewhere. Here, that's the chart of common or common enough. What? It's can you please not bug right now? Oh, hold up. Now, okay, my PDF reader decided to break. Awesome. So I cannot scroll and do what I want. Yay. Hold up. Sorry about the technical issues. Be right back. There we go. Bam. How's that? Whoa. Yeah, we're not where we're supposed to be. There we go. We're back to verbs. Let's go. Here. This is the list of these common u verbs that end in iru and eru. Right? So the most one of the most common ones are I don't know if you can see it here. It's iru, to need. It's basically this one here. They're pretty sure in the same order. Yes, exactly, that boy. That's exactly what I'm trying to do with this stream. I'm trying to force myself to study every day because there are expectations on me going to stream, and I'm trying to make others be like, oh, if I can come here every morning while he's doing his own flashcards, I can do my flashcards and we can learn some Japanese together. Isn't it great? It's like an anti-procrastination stream. I love it. Anyway, back to the iru and u verbs. The most common ones you should probably know are these basic ones. Iru, to need. Here, kaeru, to go home. I'm pretty sure you've heard this a lot in anime and whatnot. Kaeru. Kiru, to cut. Again, very important. Shaberu, to talk or to speak or something along those lines. I'm pretty sure it has a different connotation than hanashi and hanas, but hey. Shiru, to know. Hairu, to enter, and hashiru, to run, and heru, or to decrease or to dwindle or to something like that. Although the other ones I'm barely ever seen myself, so we can ignore for now. But this little chart, I cannot recommend you take a screenshot of and you keep it somewhere, just in case you ever run into one of these verbs. You're probably gonna need it. So that's good. But yeah, basically, what eventually you'll know the iru, to need, kaeru to come back, kiru to cut, shaberu to speak, shiru to know, hairu to enter, hashiru to run, and heru not so much. Heru I don't think as much, but I'm pretty sure it will, because the other day on Twitter actually I saw someone was talking about how they posted something controversial and the amount of followers decreased. Use this heru, hit that in the past. So good to know. Now that you pretty much know how to identify u and iru or ru verbs, again, basically if it doesn't end in u, so if it doesn't end in ru, it's a u verb. If the vowel sound before that is a, u, or o, it's still an u verb. And if it ends in iru or eru, it's mostly always gonna be ru verbs, except these basic exceptions we just talked about. Okay. Now that we know how to then identify between ru and u verbs, we can conjugate them. Isn't that fun? How do we make them negative? Let's see. Did I highlight anything important? I did not highlight anything. You old Dallas, you piece of shit. But really, we just kind of need this chart. So, to make ru verbs negative, it's very simple. You just take the ru, throw it away. Kind of like for e adjectives, you take the e and throw it away. You do the exact same thing for ru. And then you add nai. Impressive, I know. Very complicated, I know. For negative, we're using nai again. Yeah, basically, nai. So, taberu becomes tabenai. That's it. Taberu becomes tabenai. On iru, why is iru here? Oh, iru to be. Actually, let's talk about those verbs real quick. There are two verbs before that. It is iru and aru, which is basically mean to exist in a place, right? To just be there. So there's aru, which is an u verb, which means to exist, but it means for inanimate things. So for example, if I want to say, the other day I bought a mic or something, so mic ga aru, right? There is. See, it exists. There is one. There is. Ben ga aru. Right? So it exists. But if I want to use iru, it's for live things. So koko wa iru. Me. I'm here, I guess. And that is maiku ga aru. Hai. Well, I could say maiku wa aru as well. In this case, if I were to say that, if I wanted to talk about how there's no mic and I just bought it, and no, but there is in fact, and that's why audio is good. Mic ga aru. Karasa. Dakara. Anata wa soko ni iru. Hai. So this. So what that says is you are there. So makes sense. Cool. Iru and aru. So aru, u verb, because it ends in a before the ru. Iru, it's an iru-eru verb, and it's not one of the exceptions we saw earlier. So it's a ru verb. So we want to make. Let's use it as an example for the negative. Inai. There's not. So if you, for example, roommate or whatever you want to say roommate in Japanese, I'm just going to assume they use that. I don't know. I'm not sure if I should use wa or ga, but inai, because he's not here. He went home for Christmas, even though I usually have a roommate, right? Ga inai. I'm just going to. It depends on the context. I'm trying just to put out a random example, so I don't think there's any good context to make sure if I have to use wa or ga. But I guess I could use ga because I'm talking about my roommate, him, right? Ga inai, I suppose. Anyway, I'm not quoting me on that. I'm not very sure. I'm just trying to say a good shitty example. But taberu, tabenai. Just take out the ru, throw it at nai. That's negative. For verbs, it becomes a little bit more complicated. So, it depends on what comes before the u sounding, the u sounding vowel. Is that a vowel? No, right. Syllable. There we go. So, you have, for example, wakaru. That ends in ka. That's not very good. Yeah. So, wakaru, it's a verb, right? Because it's aru. So, what comes before, so the very, to make it negative, you have to take the very last syllable, and you have to change it to the a form. So, ra, ri, ru, re, ro, wakaru, and sin ru. So you're gonna take that and make it ra, wakara, and then you add nai. So wakaru in negative becomes wakaranai. So let's keep seeing these examples, right? Here's a good list of examples of verbs that, so you take, let's see, hanas, right? To talk, to speak, I believe. So it ends in su, sa, shi, su, se, so in the alphabet and all that. So you just change it to hanasanai, not talk. Kiku, kikanai, oyogu, to, so kiku is to hear or to ask, depends on the context. Oyogu, oyoganai, so to swim, not to swim. Asobu, to play. Asobanai, yeah, we switch bu for ba. Matsu, to wait. Matanai, so ta, chi, tsu, te, to. Tu, tsu goes to ta. Nomu, nomanai. Kaeru, kaeranai. Shinu, shinanai. Which sounds a little bit weird, shinanai, but that's how you say it. And now there's another example for verbs. An exception, not an example. If the verb ends in strictly you're not gonna, instead of switching it to an a, you're gonna switch it to a wa instead. So if you have kau, to buy, you have to say kawanai. Are there any other interesting ending verb? Oh yes, iu, to say, to speak, right? If you wanna put that like here, let me back to the dictionary. You also have to change that for what? Iwanai, iwanakata, right? I didn't say. So that's how you make verbs negative. So again, you need to have a knowledge of if it's a ru or verb, and then if it's an verb, you can change it. Different how it works, but it's simple enough. It's simple enough, right? It becomes a bit more complicated when you try to change it into past, which is what we're about to do. Yay! Oh man, I love this song. Hopefully the music is like you can hear the music, but it's not really loud. I hate it if it's just me talking and the music cannot be heard. But past tense. Okay. Actually, before that, I wanna look at these examples real quick for negative. So, ariswa tabenai. Speaking of holidays, the topic meaning is not eat. It can mean a million things depending on the context. So again, this is a completely valid sentence, but it can mean a lot of things. You can actually say it like she's not eating. Maybe she's really sad and she's barely eating. Or maybe you're talking about a specific kind of product. Like, oh, she does not eat eat fish, I guess, or she's a vegan or something. It can mean a lot of things, or maybe she's not eating the specific break. Lunch break, I guess, or something. Very contextual. Jim ga asoba nai. Bo mo shinai. Okay. I guess I forgot to mention the example verb. I mean the exception verbs of exceptions. There are a couple of important verbs that usually come with their own exceptions that I forgot to mention. My bad. Those verbs are aru, to exist. As you can see here, that's 3. The first one is suru, to do, and the second one is kuru, to come. So usually kuru comes written in kanji. Suru and aru do not. So this is kuru, right? Like this. It's looks kind of bad because I did it kind of fast, but that's kuru. You may have seen it here and there. So usually, so kuru usually, unless it's written like this, you're probably gonna read the ku as a ki. But in this case, when it's negative, kuru becomes konai. Right? So kuru, it's a very different verb. So if you say kuru, to come, konai, no, didn't come. No, actually not didn't, because it's not in the past. Doesn't come. Konai. Suru, to do. Like, for example, suru, I'm going to use it always with this example. Benkyo suru. So benkyo means study. Suru is to actually do it. To actually study. That's what we're doing. So benkyo suru, to study, and benkyo shinai, to not to study. But it's worth trying to avoid. Shinai. So, and then aru just changed to nai. It's not any aranai or anything. It's just nai. Simply switch to nai. So, for example, here, example 4, kane ga nai. We're talking about an inanimate object, which is kane, which is money. And we're giving it the property that there's no money. There's none. So kane ga nai. There's no money. As in, it's, yeah, makes cool. Then watashi wa kawanai. And regarding me, I'm not gonna buy it. So for example, we could be talking about I don't know, let's say a PS6 comes out. Picking on me, I'm not gonna buy it. Watashi wa kawanai. And then neko wa inai. Neko is a living thing. It's an animate object. So you say inai instead of nai. Inai. Because it's from iru, to be. Makes sense? Okay, now we can finally move on to the past. See, going through those examples is good because it reminded me of these exception verbs. Suru, kuru, aru. Past tense, yay! So, how to make this words in past? Kind of complicated a little bit. So, fun fact, the first time I picked up grammar and I was going through this book and I was studying and all that, this was my first fall. I kind of stopped it, both because I had a little bit of a hard time trying to understand it, and it seemed a little bit daunting. It's not really that bad, actually. As we go through it, I'll help you out. And also because of personal circumstances and lack of interest, I suppose. So yeah, if you don't know, I picked up and dropped the language a lot, which means I've gotten a lot of resources, and even though I've been studying for 4 years, I barely know shit. So yeah. this is a wall. It can be a little hard to understand at first, and it definitely needs a little bit of studying or understanding, or at least I have a nice little chart, as you can see down here, little table. I always reference when I'm struggling a little bit to make sure exactly what form I need to use when trying to talk about verbs in the past. So again, it's gonna be important to know if it's a do verb or a u verb. First of all, I want to tackle one thing. If you want to talk about any verb in the past and negative, that's actually super easy. So I want to tackle that really, really fast. It's the same for you too. Yeah, well, we're gonna fix it. Oh boy, we're gonna fix it. We're not gonna drop the language this time because we're gonna be streaming here. Then we're gonna try to read Japanese streamers, and we're gonna try to talk somehow. It's gonna be really awkward. We'll try. This is the project I wanna make. So, you know how in all the verbs in negative earlier ended up in nai some way or another. So, taberu, tabenai, or hanasanai. So if you want to make a verb in the past negative, it's super easy. You take the nai, take the i out, so tabena or hanasana, and then you just add katta. Kind of like we did with adjectives, not adjectives and nouns. So, iku, ikanakatta. I didn't go. Taberu, tabenakatta. So it's really simple, it's really easy. So if you ever want to say something in the past and negative, just you take the negative form that we just learned, take the i out and put katta. Very simple, very nice. So I think it's best to just tackle it right away and be like, hey, this is a really easy thing you can do. And then we go to the actual how to turn it into past. Okay, so the past for do verbs is easy as well. You basically much with the negative. You take the do, throw it out, and for negative we added nai, tabenai. So for the past we add ta, tabeta, ate. And deru, deta came out. Right? It's very simple. Is there any other? Yeah, miru, mita. So, sonega, mita. As in, I saw that film, right? It's that simple. Do verbs are awesome to work with. U verbs, as in most other verbs, oh man. So, anyway, actually, let me open. Somehow I felt like there was not enough light on here, but it's fine. The main point is thankfully on the PDF. So, yeah, do verbs, super easy to work with. Past tense for do verbs. So once again, I'm gonna walk you through this. And there's not a lot of things you can do about this other than write this chart down with your own examples or these examples and memorize it and have it handy. Thankfully, we can kind of wrap it together in basically 4 little groups of how it works. So we're basically going to have to take out the u part of the verb and throw it away, and that's gonna get changed into a completely different little suffix. So let's see how to say, for example, hanas, to talk, to speak in the past. You take out the su, just the s sounding, and then you add shita. So hanashita. So it goes from hanas to hanashita to the past. And that's like what I like to call group 1. If it ends in su, you just change it to shita. Which is actually very interesting because later on when we learn keigo, as in the polite form, you say des, right, for polite, and then in the past it becomes deshita. So that becomes shita. And it becomes quite intuitive because supposedly you're going to be using keigo a lot. So it's good to know that becomes shita for, or su becomes shita for the past. That one should be simple and easy enough. Yes, su it becomes shita. Then there's the second group I like to refer to, which is if it ends on ku or gu. So this is kaku, to write. So when you have a verb ending in ku, that ku becomes instead ita. So kaku becomes kaita. You take away the ku, so kaku becomes ka, and then add ita instead, kaita, as in I wrote. Did I say draw instead of write? Because fun fact, this verb is also kaku. Different kanji, same reading, different connotation. This means to draw. The one that's on the PDF means to write. Important to know. So yes, kaku, kaita for both verbs. We can also use it for kiku. For kiku is actually a bit more interesting because kiku it's kiku, and you have to throw away the ku, and then you're gonna put ita. But you're gonna, what really is gonna end up happening if you have ki and ita, and it's gonna combine together into kita. That is basically gonna get elongated, as far as I know, as far as I understand. Again, take everything that I say with a grain of salt, because I'm also a student. So kiku becomes kita, kita, which you're probably a bit more familiar with in terms of like Japanese and stuff, because to hear it's usually more used in the past, right? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Right? Makes sense. Kita. Then we have oyagu, or verbs ending in gu. So like it's interesting. So you're gonna throw away the gu and you're gonna add ida instead. You're basically gonna add those two little ticks that you add from ku to gu. But you're also gonna add them to ita. Well, you're gonna add it to ida. So that's why learning these two together is something I did. You just kind of group them together. So anything that ends in ku or gu, then you do ita or ida depending on how it is originally, right? So oyagu becomes oyoida. I don't know any other gu ending verbs, so oyagu will have to do as an example. Oyagu, oyoida. And then we have group number 3. All of these verbs that end in mu, nu, and bu will end up being replaced, the mu, nu, and bu for nda. So nda, the n and da. So let's see some examples. Yamu, nomu, nomu. Why did I say yamu? Oh, because anyway, nomu, to drink, nomda, drank. Shinu, to die, shinda, died. And asobu, to play, asonda, played. I like to learn all of these as a group of just, okay, if it ends mu, nu, or bu, mu, nu, or bu, it will get replaced by nda. Right? Do I have any other examples? No, I don't. Okay. Makes sense, right? Nomu, nonda, shinu, shinda, asobu, asonda. It also kind of makes sense because when you have an M or an N sounding letter, changing that to N kind of makes sense, right? Yomu, yonda, Well, I keep saying yomu for read instead of the example that's there. That's nomu. Yomu also works, right? To read. Yomu. Yonda. Nomu. Nonda. Shinu. Shinda. Right? Makes sense. I feel, or at least coming from Spanish, seeing the M and N correlated to, and makes sense to me. If not, you'll have to remember it. And then for ending in bu, just asunda. There's not much else to say. Make sure you remember that. Final group, the you have the little two that indicates that little pause. Da. So, well, let's see what the verbs are. Ru, so it ends in ru, tsu, or ka. So basically, you're gonna remove the u sound, and I'm gonna add this da. So kiru, to cut. It's an iru verb, and remember it was part of the exceptions we looked at. It was like iru and deru and kairu. So for the past, remove deru and do the following: kiru, kita, kairu, katta, deru, detta. Right? Remove deru, add detta. And then for verbs ending in tu, actually for verbs ending in tu, it's very simple because tu, da, same family, right? Da, chi, tsu, de, to. So I find it intuitive in that way. So motsu, to hold, motta. Matsu, to wait, matta. Right, so if you arrive late or something, you can do a very simple question, as in you just say matta, right? Did you as in waited, as in did you wait long, right? Did you wait? Or I guess probably an awful example, but that I don't know why that scene comes to mind. But yes, then go to buy, katta, bought, right? Or you itta, to say said. So again, so three families, hanas, hanashita, so su becomes shita. Intuitive, because you go from su to shi. For ku and gu, it becomes ita or ida, depending on the original. If it's ku ita, if it's ku ida, which is kind of makes sense learning them together. The third group, if it ends in mu, nu, or bu, you change it to nda, which is kind of intuitive, at least if you know Spanish, or because the nu and mu sounds go into nda, kind of makes sense, at least to me, and bu as well. But so namu, nanda, shinu, shinda, subu, sunda, and finally, ru, tsu, or u ending verbs goes to ta, kiru, kita, motsu, motta, ka, kao, katta, or you, ita. I prefer using to say you as it. And then there are three exceptions. So regarding kuru, to come, you start again, as instead of reading it as ku, you read it as ki. And it's a normal standard ru verb, so you just read it as kita, which is came, which is probably what you hear a lot. So in terms of slang and common thing, it's also common to say kicha, right? Instead of saying ta, they say cha. So the exceptions for this past is suru, to do, becomes shita, benkyo shita, as in studied. Makes sense, I think. Kuru, again, kita, like it is here, yep. Kuru, kita, you read it as ki instead. And iku, even though it's a normal u sounding verb, if you were to say ita, it sounds weird because ku would, as we learned just now, would go to ita. So it ended up coming as ita. That I guess didn't sound right, or maybe confuses with another verb, but instead you have to say itta. So it's the one time ta comes from a ku ending verb. And so some examples. 今日は走った、走る、走った。It's a u verb that ends in 走る、走る. It's one of the examples. One of the exceptions, I mean. 走った。友達が来た。私も遊んだ。勉強はした。Or you can also say 勉強した。There's no need. There's not necessarily a need for what, or so I think. And as we saw, negative past, for now you take out the e and just say katta. Very simple. And okay, so now we have particles used with verbs. So this is a whole other lesson of particles that are specifically attached at the end before verbs, I believe, right? Yes. So that's a bad explanation. It's a particle comes after a word that the verb is doing an action to. So tabemono, food, or kutta. Which is tabemono, right? It's food. O is this O that we're about to see, or probably tomorrow. And ku, to eat. As we just saw, it's an u ending verb. So in the past, we changed that to ta, kutta, ate. Right? So that's a good way to go about it. And yeah, I think we'll see this lesson about particles used with words, with verbs tomorrow, which will be o, ni, e, and de. De is actually the best particle I've seen so far. It's so good. Close one is no. And then we'll keep seeing verbs tomorrow with the particles, transitive and intransitive verbs. I think my throat is tired for the day. And I think we did a lot of progress. I don't know about you, Chad, but anti-procrastination stream so far a success. It's been a lot of fun, and I liked it. And it's good to catch up on everything. A lot of this I already know. I've already seen this in the past, over the past couple of years. But it's always very good to do a review, try to explain it, make sure I have the correct concepts. Maybe someone corrects me on something I understood wrong. And hopefully you get my understanding and I make a easier explanation to understand how everything's connected together. So again, tomorrow morning at around 8 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. It depends on when I wake up, how long I take to wake up and get my coffee. We'll be doing another studying stream, and if you ever miss it, I'm gonna archive them on YouTube. You can also, I will ping people on Discord when that happens, so you can follow the socials and all that stuff. Here's the Discord. Here's everything you may need to follow me on this journey to actually become fluent when in Japanese and stop slacking and stop procrastinating and actually study. No more excuses. This was the first day as shown on the right of the screen. 1日目. Pretty good. I knew you would do that, Kamari, so I put that in for you. But yeah. Fun stream. We'll see you tomorrow. As once I catch up to everything, streams will probably become shorter, not almost 4 hours. But we'll see. Streams will happen every day. May end up eventually being shorter. But since I'm gonna start my winter break very soon, we're gonna have a lot of fun this December and January, and we're gonna make a lot of progress. So you too should. I invite you to use this Christmas time and this relaxation time, and hopefully you have your winter break as well or whatever, to study a little bit for like 1 hour or 2 hours a day with me in Japanese, because it's a cool hobby. It's a cool thing to study, and it will actually eventually become useful for whatever you want it, be it Japanese, be it anime or VTubers or whatever, or even video games. Eventually we'll stop studying so much and try to use that knowledge of Japanese in video games and music. So I look very much forward to that. Yeah, please, I think that's all I have to say. Let's try to see who's live. If we can host some Japanese streamer, because I recommend that while you're not actively studying, that you study on your own some Japanese. You try to hear some, and that you try to, practice some way or another. So I'm gonna host this person that's also studying Japanese. I found him the other day, seems cool, so let's just go host him. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye bye.